Here's a fascinating update on the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, and how it's playing out in a critical swing state. Now, insurance exchanges open in many states in a month, and after the Supreme Court's healthcare ruling last summer, states now have the choice to expand Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act. Now, take a look at this map. So far, 24 states plus the District of Columbia have decided to go ahead with Medicaid expansion that covers low-income adults. 6 states are still debating. Now, one of the places where that debate is still happening is in Michigan, where the state Senate is in the process of voting on Medicaid expansion. The underplayed part of this story is the split between Republican Governor Rick Snyder, who supports the expansion, and conservatives in the state legislature who argue it's an unnecessary and, more importantly, unsustainable expansion of government. Joining us now is the Post's Reid Wilson from the new hot blog on the Washington Post, aka GovBeat. Hey, Reid. Now, let's start here. The only other state with a Republican governor and a Republican-controlled legislature that has passed Medicaid expansion is Arizona, interestingly enough. What's the dynamic going on here between Snyder and the Republican legislature?
Well, it's the same as what was happening with Governor Jan Brewer in Arizona and her caucus. Both Snyder and Brewer and a number of other Republican governors, I should say, they acknowledge that there are tens, hundreds of millions, perhaps billions of dollars on the table here from the federal government over the next couple of years that will go towards paying for this expanded Medicaid. And what they are trying to do is take advantage of that money. Hey, the federal government wants to give you a lot of money. They want to take it. If you're a state governor, no surprise. Conservatives in the state legislature hate Obamacare. They don't want anything to do with it. And so they're willing to say no to this huge pot of money in order to offer this sort of token rejection. In both cases, Snyder and Brewer have worked with more moderate factions, leadership in the state legislature to get these expansions through.
So where do we go from here? Because could this give the Affordable Care Act a little bit more credibility, and are other Republican governors going to follow suit because of this?
What I think it's going to do is it's going to put pressure on those other Republican governors to either try again or to pass this in the last remaining days. There are only 6 states that are still debating this. A lot of other states had to leave before they could pass a Medicaid expansion. They're going to lose millions of dollars a day come the new year if they don't pass this expansion. I think you can look at states like Florida, where Governor Rick Scott faces a real tough re-election bid, wants to get some kind of Medicaid expansion through, to revisit this once we get to January in the special session.
Can I ask a quick politics question about Michigan? Let's say this passes, conservatives unhappy with Snyder. Primary challenge, does he need to worry or not?
I don't see a primary challenge there. I think this is great for his re-election campaign. Snyder, Brewer, Scott, all of these are unpopular Republican governors. They want to do something that reaches out to the middle. Nothing says reaching out to swing voters like, hey, let's cover more people with Medicaid, and by the way, bring down the costs, and by the way, the federal government is paying for it. I think this is a real good thing for Snyder. If it passes, as of yesterday, they needed 18 votes in the state Senate to get something through. They had exactly 18 votes, which means that the lieutenant governor may have to come in and break a tie there.
Reid Wilson, our resident number counter.
There you go.
Thank you very much for the time. And folks, remember to check out GovBeat.
Please do.
Our new blog.
There you go.